Hey everyone, if you are not on Instagram, you probably should be. The platform has 1 billion monthly active users and it's a fantastic place to show off your work as a photographer. And sometimes you can even get lucky enough to make a sale through the platform. And I'm not talking about finding clients and getting gigs through Instagram, which you can also definitely do, but I'm talking about actually licensing one of your photos after somebody discovered it. So that's what actually happened to me a few years ago. And at the time, I was just using Instagram primarily for fun, posting pictures of things that inspired me or pretty places that I saw. I had never actually sold a photo through Instagram before this. One day, I attended a photography meetup at a historic theater in Washington, D.C. This was actually the theater that President Lincoln got shot in, which is partially why it's so famous. I was trying to capture different angles of the theater that would make my photos a little bit more unique. So I took this photo here, a photo of my phone taking a photo, and I liked how this created that beautiful bokeh with the lights in the background. And overall, it just made the picture a little bit more interesting because, to be quite honest, I thought the other pictures I took of the theater were a little bit boring. And I didn't like them enough to post to my Instagram. This is the only picture that I liked enough to share on the platform. So I posted it. And of course, I did what I always do. I used lots of hashtags, I tagged my location, and I tagged the theater in the photo. And the theater actually saw the photo, and a few days later, they reached out to me and asked if they could purchase the photo. They wanted it for non-commercial editorial use for a limited time frame that we would set. So basically, they were planning to print it in a free brochure that they had at their theater, but they were not going to put it on any sort of products or merchandise or anything like that. At this point, I didn't have a lot of experience licensing photos. I primarily worked as an event photographer where I had set an hourly rate, but licensing individual photos was not something that I had too much knowledge about. So I wasn't quite sure what to charge a theater. I decided to contact a few of my photographer friends who were a little bit more experienced licensing individual photos, and I got totally different responses. One person told me to charge between $1,000 and $3,000 for one photo. But just to put this into context, he usually does photography for huge clients like Samsung and other major corporations, so his perspective might be a little bit different than others. My other friend, who does a lot of landscape photography and usually sells that locally, she said charge $150, which seemed a little bit low. So asking them didn't really help because now I was even more confused than ever because people were telling me charge anywhere between $150 and $3,000. And another person told me just ask them for their budget because sometimes these kinds of companies already know what they usually want to pay for a photo. So I decided that that's what I would do. In the end, the theater purchased the photo for $375 with limited uses, and again, for editorial use only. And they used it in one of their brochures, but they never actually printed it or used it anywhere else, as far as I could tell. Now, I could have easily put this photo up on Shutterstock or some sort of other stock photography platform, and this photo could have sold for a few cents, and the buyer of that photo could have used it for the exact same purposes. Editorial use in a product that is not for sale. And they would have had all the rights to do so. In fact, if I had put this photo up on Shutterstock and the theater had looked at Shutterstock to find a photo for their brochure, they could have downloaded mine for just a few cents. And that's simply just the reality. That's what happens with stock photography. But I still love being a stock photographer. And here's what I recommend. Upload lots of photos to Shutterstock, because as you all know, you definitely need quantity, but you also need quality. And by quality, I mean quality in terms of uniqueness, because with stock photography, you're really hoping to sell quantity to make significant earnings. But, and there's a but here, if you have photos that you truly, truly value and that you would be crushed to see downloaded for just a few cents, don't put those photos up there. And that's what Instagram is great for. Showcase your best work on Instagram. And this doesn't necessarily have to be work that you upload to Shutterstock, but just your best work in general. And maybe one day somebody will stumble upon your Instagram account or see a photo that you tagged them in and they'll want to purchase it. And if that photo is only available through you directly, they're going to have to license it directly through you. This doesn't happen very often, but it can happen, and I just thought I would share this story to make you see that there are other ways to expose your work, and stock photography is just one way. So definitely be mindful about what you post there versus what you share on your public profiles. Try to find a good balance and always ask yourself the question, are you okay with this photo being downloaded for pennies? For me personally, I have plenty of photos that I'm okay with them being sold for very little. And then I have some photos that I keep for myself and I showcase on my other platforms just in case somebody wants to buy that photo directly from me. So before you click this video away, go check out my Instagram at Nicole S. Glass. Would love to connect over there. And if you're new to my channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. That'd be super cool. Until next time, take care.